It's me again. I've actually lost count of the amount of times we've tried to start filming a new vlog over the last couple of weeks because a combination of many things. The world is burning. I think it's difficult to just keep going on as normal and like keep your focus on all the same things when so much of your focus is taken up by reading, listening, watching, absorbing all of this information. I'm just trying to keep reminding myself that it's okay if that disrupts my life because it's normal human behaviour and response to not be able to carry on as normal. To be honest, all of that plus seasonal depression and generally feeling unwell and exhausted and all of those things anyway at this time of year, plus staying aware and cognizant of a horrific genocide happening on the other side of the world, like all of that is just a lot. I'm sure I'm not the only one. Hopefully like some of you will resonate with that. I'm sure you do. Welcome to a new vlog. There's just something about this time of year that makes you feel so good, like me personally, and I'm sure a lot of you, it's very common, but that just makes you feel like absolute shit about yourself. Maybe in this video I'll try and show you some of the things that I do to kind of help myself feel a little bit more human, a little bit better around this time of year. If you're in the same boat as me, keep watching. We'll figure it out together. Here I am wearing what I call my seasonal depression outfit. Your skin is so dull in the winter. I don't have my usual tan. I just feel a little bit lifeless, and so doing things like doing my nails, making sure I've got nice jewellery so that things just feel a little bit more alive. I remember when I had my surgery, my endo surgery a couple of years ago, and it still happens now where I have to go for a medical appointment and I have to take all my jewellery off. And I remember it took me like a couple of weeks to realise like, oh, I can put my earrings back in, I can put my rings back on and actually feel a little bit more like myself again. So I'm actually really pleased I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm actually really pleased that Anna Louisa Jewellery, they reached out to me and wanted to gift me a couple of pieces. I thought I'd just talk about them on here because firstly, I can't believe that I have a brand who, you know, wants to work with me. That's just feels ridiculous. Also, because I actually genuinely really like them and kind of can't believe that they want to work with me. So basically I took this opportunity when they asked me to pick out a couple of pieces to pick some of the things that I've had my eye on for a really long time, or things like pieces of jewellery that I've been really looking for and that I just can't get my hands on. Especially if you're into gold jewellery, it's hard to find gold jewellery that's great quality, that's not going to tarnish, that you can wear all the time and that's affordable. I feel like all of those things are really difficult to find, and I've been on the lookout for the perfect gold hoop for a really long time, the kind of gold hoop that's not going to break the bank but that I can leave in all the time. I've honestly gone through so many pairs of gold hoop earrings because they break, they twist, and they just don't last, or they make my ears feel itchy. I did have a little browse on the Anna Louisa website and they obviously have like a lot of different lovely options for gold hoops. So they sent me these, which I think are called the low medium, and they have a really gorgeous clasp like this. So they're really secure. Let me put these, so these were gifted, these bigger ones, which is very kind. But then I actually went onto the website when Anna Louise had their Black Friday sale, which I also believe is still, they have a winter sale going on right now. So if you're really like still not sure what you want to get people for Christmas, this is a really good option. I actually went back on their website and decided to buy these earrings, but in the smaller size. So these are the low hoops, the small ones. I've just wanted like a good stack of hoops for a really long time, and I just couldn't find them. I just couldn't find what I was looking for. So yeah, I really like the way that these look together. And then I've got just like some studs, and just the rest of my piercings are all really, really basic, but I just love the way that these look together. Yeah, so I went back to Anna Louisa and I bought these smaller ones myself, and I also got a couple of presents for people for Christmas and things. So as well as these ones, they also gifted me this bracelet. I picked out this bracelet, which I've also been looking for something like this for a really long time, because I don't wear a watch. I don't really care to wear a watch. It's not something that I care a huge deal about. I don't find them that comfortable, but I love the look of a watch strap, and this is just like the perfect bracelet for that, because it looks really cool on your wrist. It's like, but there's not this watch face which is really heavy, that kind of like is really uncomfortable to wear. So I just really love the way that looks. Like it's like a gorgeous statement piece, but simple enough that it kind of goes with the rest of my jewelry, and it doesn't look too big or bulky, and it's really comfortable to wear. Again, I never take this off. I always sleep in this, wear it in the shower, everything. Yeah, I have a link down below if you want to go and check out Anna Louisa jewelry. Check out the sale that they've got on at the moment, because compared to other brands, I will say I do think they're more affordable, and I do think that the quality is better. I have spent more than I would care to admit on jewelry. When I moved back in with my parents, and it was COVID and I was working full time, but I didn't really have anything to spend my money on, I bought a lot of jewelry. Like that's what I spent my money on, and I wouldn't do the same thing now, but there was just, we all went a little bit crazy during COVID, and we just won't talk about that. Most of my jewelry collection comes from that time in my life, and there are loads of pieces that I have very lovingly looked after and worn a lot, and they just have not stood the test of time. They've broken. I've had to like go back and say that the plating's come off, or that the coating's come off, or that they've tarnished, or the stone's fallen out. So if you are after the perfect pair of gold hoops, or a lovely statement necklace or a bracelet, or something to gift someone this Christmas, use my link below. And thanks for being here, because the fact that a brand is willing to work with me is nutso. So yeah, see, I just don't think there's anything a gold hoop can't fix, including my seasonal depression. Feels like I'm doing something really serious, but I'm not. I'm just sitting down. So hello everyone, it is currently Tuesday and I'm just working. To be honest, work is quite busy at the moment and I don't mind that. It's quite a good distraction. It's quite a good way to pass the day. What else is there to say? Oh my god, I don't even think I've talked about Cloud. Yeah, I think the last thing I said about a cat is that we were like planning on really fully going for it and adopting one. At the end of October, we started fostering Cloud. We found Cloud. He was kind of sprung upon us. The lady at the charity really knew what she was doing. She just had a way with words, I think, and I don't know if we were really pulled in by Cloud's story or just by the way that she was talking about him, or I don't know what it was, but we felt very attached to the idea of him for some reason. I don't really know why, because I feel like if we'd seen him on the website, we might not have necessarily gone for him, which I think is the whole point. Like, senior rescue cats, particularly ones who have a history of being strays, who are very nervous, very shy, and don't have much of a personality to show to people, they obviously get passed up a lot. Cloud, the only photos they had of him were ones where he was really raggedy in the garden where he was found. So I don't know why, there was just something about him that really pulled us in, and I'm so glad because he's doing really, really well. So we fostered him to begin with. Just, you'll be doing a good thing by taking him out of the current like kennel situation that he was in, which really was not helping him with his trauma. You know, we were just like, we'll just see how it goes. If it doesn't work, we've got full license to say that to the charity, but we were kind of like, if anyone's going to be able to give this cat a good home, it's us. We're very well set up for a cat that needs a lot of work and a lot of patience and a lot of care. It's been really rewarding, but it has also been really hard. Like, I won't lie, I know that kind of now in hindsight we can say like, oh, it's been amazing and it's all of this been so rewarding, but in those moments where like the rewards haven't come yet, particularly the first couple of weeks, and you know, there were points where we were kind of like, I don't even know if he's ever going to be affectionate. We don't know if he's ever going to be loving, if he's ever going to want to come up to us, if he's always going to hiss at us. I have no idea what this cat's going to be like, and we're just kind of putting the work in good faith that he will come out of his shell at some point. I feel pretty proud of myself. I've learned a lot through this process for sure, and it has been the most rewarding thing ever. He's like the best little cat, and he's still got a long way to go in terms of coming out of his shell, but there were weeks at points where he wouldn't let us touch him, weeks where he would hiss every time we came near him. He still hisses at us sometimes. He still gets spooked really easy. So it's definitely not straightforward, but we all know progress isn't linear, recovery isn't linear. I think he's a great little cat, and we've formally adopted him now, so he is all ours. We've made the decision to keep him, because I mean, we just can't imagine giving him up at this point. You know, we've put everything into him and he's given us everything back. We really have earned his trust, and I feel so like lucky and grateful. So yeah, that's everything about little Cloud. So hopefully you'll see more of him in videos to come. Yeah, I hope you're all doing okay. I just hope you're going soft. If you want, maybe you can comment down below one thing that you are doing in this time to help yourself, to support yourself, to feel better, whether that is directly for yourself or whether that's something that you're doing outwardly in terms of like community action or resistance or whatever, because those things are also acts of self-care, because in order to care for ourselves we must also care for the collective, so and vice versa. So yeah, let me know if there's anything that you're doing at the moment that's really like giving you life back, and hopefully we can look at the comments and find some warmth in there. What's the time? I need to go back to my desk. Sat here with my bloody sad lamp on because it's 1:45 in the afternoon. It's 1:45 p.m. I've just had my lunch. It feels like it's the middle of the night. It's so dark, and I've just not had a day today. We've just not had a day. All my sunlight has been artificial. How are we supposed to thrive in these conditions? I don't understand. What do you do? At least the tree looks cute. Okay, let me put you right on top of my sad lamp. It was Friday. It was Friday. It is Friday today. Finally, this week has been the longest week of all time. I'm seriously over it. Things are really winding down for Christmas now, thankfully, as well. So it's all good. What have I been doing this week? Not a lot. I've just been working, as you've seen. I've also not spoken about what I've been reading this week. So I thought I'd just give you a quick rundown of that. It's taken me a little while to get back into the swing of things because I finished the absolute mammoth doorstop that is Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell by Susanna Clarke. Do you know what? I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm so glad that I did read it because I knew that it would be up my street, but I just wasn't sure if I'd be able to actually commit. And I don't know if I've said this on here before, but I'm always really proud of myself when I actually do go for these bigger books that I know are going to take me a little bit longer and that aren't going to be the most straightforward, simple reads, because in the past, the reason why these books have been on my shelf for such a long time is because in the past I would be so fixated on a numerical goal for my year that I would put off reading. I just wouldn't read those kinds of books because I knew that would waste precious reading time of other books, and instead of ticking off full books, I would just spend a week or two reading this huge book, and then that would still only count for one book towards my goal. And it was last year that I decided actually that's such a sad way to live my life, because yeah, of course reading a book that's 1,000 pages long is going to take a little bit longer, and that's absolutely fine. I find that the longer that I read this intensely for, first of all, the easier it is to read those books. I'm a much more mature reader than I used to be, and so books like Wolf Hall or Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell, Anna Karenina is on my list for next year. Books like that, I do find them easier to read than I would have a few years ago when I first bought them. And that's just because my reading muscles are pretty good because I read a lot. Oh, excuse me. Also, I'm just in general much less intimidated and much more focused on goals that aren't necessarily numerical. It's more about the types of books that I'm reading and ticking off books that I am intimidated by or that I've been putting off reading for ages. So I finally finished that and it was really brilliant. Yeah, I don't really know how to describe it. I do think that it's slightly different from maybe what I was expecting. It is very much a kind of Dickensian saga. Reminded me a lot of The Master and Margarita, so if you really liked that, I think you'd really like Jonathan Strange and Mr. Norrell. It reminded me a lot of the kinds of fantasy that I used to read when I was younger, stuff like Philip Pullman, C.S. Lewis, those kinds of books that have a real sense of realism of the real world and real history and real politics and that kind of thing, but with this kind of overlay of magic woven into the story. Longer books, when they're done well, they really have such a powerful way of like making you feel so attached to the characters in the story because you spend so many hours with them. And especially at the beginning I was reading it alongside some other books, but then I just decided like I need to stop pursuing these side quests. I need to just focus on Jonathan Strange Mystery. I'm just going to read it. And when I did that, I was like fully immersed in this world, and like when I finished it I was thinking about it for days afterwards, and I still think about it. And what else? Oh yeah, I just finished On Beauty last night. I reread On Beauty by Zadie Smith, which some of you might know is one of my favourite books of all time. And the reason why I actually reread it is because I kept recommending it to people and kept saying it was one of my favourite books of all time. Is it still as good as I remember? I just want to double check, because it's one of those ones where some of the real details of the plot I couldn't necessarily remember, but what I was remembering as one of my favourite books of all time was just the vibe of the book, the way that Zadie Smith writes, how funny, how witty, how astute the observations are. Thankfully, I still really enjoyed it on my second time reading it. I think even more so because I do remember the first time I read it, it took me a little while to get into. This time round, I just kind of was dropped straight into it and immediately remembered everything, and kind of things were coming back to me as I was reading, and I was like, oh yeah, I remember why I love this so much. So next up, I think I'm going to read Giving Up the Ghost by Hilary Mantel. I'm going to see what I want to take with me when I go up north to see my parents for Christmas and things like that, because I'll be reading a little bit more over Christmas, hopefully, with some time off. So other than that, I think I'm actually going to sign this vlog off here because it is the end of the week. I'm absolutely done. Thank you so much for watching, and please don't forget to shop Anna Louisa jewellery if that's something that you're interested in. It's their biggest sale of the year. It's the same sale that they had for Black Friday, so if you're a last minute person and you still need to get some gifts for Christmas and things, definitely have a look at the website, get yourself some pieces, get your friends some pieces. Let me know if you do get anything. I'd love to know what kind of jewellery you're into. Yeah, I hope you all have a lovely, restful weekend, and if I probably won't upload again before Christmas, so have an amazing Christmas and I'll see you in 2024. Mwah.